You're listening to PetLifeRadio.com.
It's a Doggy Dog World is brought to you by Dog.com. For everything and anything dog, shop Dog.com today for all the top brands. Greenies, Frontline, Kong, Nylabone, Royal Canin, and more. Shop at Dog.com and use the promo code SADDOGGY, SADDOGGY, and get $15 off your order of $75 or more.
It's a big world out there, and you're just looking for a pat on the back or head. You run around the city, searching for a place to bark, working your tail off with your nose to the ground, sniffing for a few scraps, hoping someone will throw you a bone. You take each lead, collar after collar, hoping one day to take a bite out of success and become the top dog. Fortunately, you come home each day to open arms, open cans, a drink waiting for you, and a comfortable place in front of the TV set. You know you've got it good, really good, because after all, it's a doggy dog world out there. Pet Life Radio presents It's a Doggy Dog World with your host, pet expert, and award-winning author Liz Palaika, and this week's co-hosts Kate Abbott and Petra Burke.
Hi, welcome to It's a Doggy Dog World. I'm your host, Liz Palaika, and with me are my good friends Petra Burke. Hello. And Kate Abbott. How do? And today we're recording our annual Thanksgiving Christmas holiday podcast. Yep. But we're going to make a little stray off that, a little variation in also talking about how to choose when vacation time comes around, whether it's holiday or not, whether your dog should go with you, whether he should stay behind, and if he stays behind, should he go to a boarding kennel, pet sitter, someone come to the house? Just some things to think about so you can make a decision. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Sit. Stay. It's a Doggy Dog World. We'll be right back after a short pause. Well, 4 to be exact.
There's a movement afoot. ShoeBuy.com. Join the millions of people who shop ShoeBuy.com's over 400 brands and 500,000 products. Order now and get free shipping and free return shipping. ShoeBuy.com, the world's greatest shoe store.
Walk your dog in style and comfort. Enter the code DOGGY, DOGGY, at checkout and get a 10% discount plus free shipping at ShoeBuy.com.
Love your pets but wish their medications were a lot less expensive? They are at 1-800-PET-MEDS. You'll not only save on flea and heartworm medications, but on prescriptions for arthritis, incontinence, thyroid, and more. And you get fast service, free shipping, and a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Plus, our licensed pharmacists ensure accuracy, monitor drug interaction, and more. See why over 5 million people have trusted their pet's health to 1-800-PET-MEDS, America's largest pet pharmacy. Call now or order online.
Go to petmeds.com/world, WORLD, to get 10% off any order and free shipping on orders of $39 or more at petmeds.com.
Celebrate your special occasion and give her this classic semi-eternity band created with 1-carat brilliant diamonds, channel set in 14-carat white gold. Exclusively yours from ice.com. Free shipping over $150, free returns, and 30-day money-back guarantee.
Go to ice.com and use promo code ACTFP and get 20% off your purchase, or use promo code ADTFP and get 20% off at diamond.com. Ice.com or diamond.com. Get 20% off from Pet Life Radio.
This year, Americans are expected to spend a jaw-dropping $36 billion on their pets. From lighted leashes to high-end spa products, the discriminating pet owner can find just about anything to pamper his or her pet. Hi, this is Michelle Fern. Join me every week for Best Bets for Pets, where we'll talk about the latest pet products and talk to the companies that make them. Best Bets for Pets, every week, only on PetLifeRadio.com.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com. We know you're begging for more. So back to It's a Doggy Dog World with your fetching hosts, Liz Palaika, and this week's co-hosts, Kate Abbott and Petra Burke.
Welcome back to It's a Doggy Dog World. This is our annual holiday podcast, and we usually talk about Thanksgiving, some safety tips. You can share the turkey with your dog, but don't give him the gravy.
Or the carcass. Where you dispose of it.
Carcass, yes.
Don't let all your guests
Feed them under the table.
There's a lot of things for Thanksgiving that could upset tummy or GI tract. And if your dog's worried about company coming to the house, feel free to put him away. Put the dog away, not necessarily the company.
Sometimes. I'd rather put some of the relatives away.
Well, I don't know. If you can shove Uncle Joe into a crate, that's But like my 6-year-old Bashir, he's a very serious dog. And when my sister comes over with her 2 kids, and they're very well-behaved kids, and I mean that in reality, they're very well-behaved. But the 5-year-old buzzing around, sometimes Bashir gets nervous about it. He's not behaving the way he should, Mom. He's not a well-behaved puppy. So then, put Bashir away. And I'm not scolding him. I'm not punishing him. I'll give him something to chew on and put him in a back bedroom, and that removes him from the stress.
I mean, you've done it when we've had Christmas parties at your house
sure.
as well.
I put everybody away.
Yep.
After all, after the time that Riker dove headfirst into the Christmas cookies...
Yeah, he wasn't even sorry about it either.
No.
I remember Liz going, "What are you doing?" He's like, eating a cookie.
Oh, no, he wasn't eating a cookie. His whole face was in the plate of cookies.
Inhaling.
Swallowing them as fast as he could, because he knew he wasn't supposed to.
At the beginning of the realizing he had entered the old dogs don't have to listen to rules anymore.
Yes.
Phase,
Yeah. So, when it gets too distracting or too busy, just put him away. But one thing I also want to talk about with the holidays this year that we haven't touched on quite so much in previous holiday podcasts is how do you choose when holiday time is coming around or even vacation time? Should your dog go with you? Should he stay home? How do you make that decision? And if he stays home, does he stay at home and you have a pet sitter come to the house? Or does he go to a boarding kennel or does he go to a pet sitter's? There's a lot to think about.
You have to think about what your dog's used to, too. If you decide on boarding, don't, for the first time in a 6-year-old dog's life, leave him there for 2 weeks. Maybe take him there for daycare for a couple of days.
Sure.
Off and on, with some days in between.
Mm-hmm.
Get him used to that idea. Yes, this is a place you can come stay, like camp, but I will come get you afterwards.
And I think that's the key. Petra and I both worked at a boarding kennel for a period of time. Mm-hmm. And I think one of the things a dog needs to learn is that, yes, he can stay, but you are coming back.
Yeah, exactly. And I think if you bring the dog, like Kate mentioned, to either overnight once in a while, they get to learn the staff there as well. Yeah. And I remember dogs coming in and that would stay for the holidays. And if there were return ones, they were just like, "Oh, friend!" and they're really excited. And
I'm going on vacation too.
Yeah, it was like a little holiday for them, and they weren't as stressed. They were much more comfortable compared to the ones that were just exactly that, dropped off the first time in their life, and they're there for 5 days.
Yeah,
those poor little things. I felt so sorry for them.
And I think that applies to whether they're going to a boarding kennel or they're going to stay with a pet sitter who keeps the dog in their home. It's still staying somewhere else. I think if you're looking at whether you're going to take the dog or not, look at one, is he going to travel well? Does he like going places in the car?
And or if you're going to try and fly.
Well, let's talk about flying separate because there's a whole lot of things with that. But if you're going by car, does he like to go by car? Is he well trained enough that he's going to be fun to have around?
Yeah, you don't want an out-of-control dog at somebody else's house. Rampaging through the house like a nutcase. Is your dog crate trained?
Want to stop every hour to clean up your dog's throw up?
Yeah.
Or
diarrhea.
Diarrhea.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think we've traveled with our guys that, soon we have to take our puppies.
Well, Archer went on his first trip in September and we went to Tucson. His first long trip.
Yeah.
He'd been on shorter trips. And I was very pleased. He took it all in stride. Night in the hotel? Okay, cool, no problem. I was actually expecting a little more stress, and there was none. Hey, I'm with Mom and Dad. I'm in the fancy van. I'm with Bashir. Yeah. Bashir's calm. Okay, cool, we'll do it.
And then remember the first trip we took with Bashir and Logan. And poor Bashir...
He wouldn't go potty for 24 hours.
We stopped at rest stops. Logan, no problem. Bashir's like, no, wait until I get home. And we're going, well, that's going to be a week.
Well, they were puppies at the time. They were about 8 months old.
Yeah.
But it was the first trip for both of them. And yeah, Bashir just said, I'm not going to pee here.
No, my gosh. We did everything.
Finally, the next morning, his bladder had to be as big as his head.
We stood there for a while where he just this instant relief. I'll never forget his face. Oh my gosh.
So I've made it a point from other puppies to make sure they go potty in a variety of places. Yes, let's not just go potty at home and on our walk and at the training yard. Let's go potty wherever I tell you, no matter where it is.
Exactly.
And Archer was no trouble. And actually, when we picked Cisco up in Arizona, we told him go potty, and he went, okay, let's do it.
Right. And then bringing a crate with you.
Yes.
Is extremely helpful. I mean, we've heard stories. I think one of our assistant trainers, when she went on vacation, how one of their family members brought their dog but didn't have a crate, and all the dogs didn't get along very well, and they put her dog's one in a crate, and this dog didn't, and it was fighting with the in-laws' dog, and I'm thinking that's
disaster.
No way to spend a Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
You want to sit there, enjoy the company, enjoy the dogs, not have to watch that big one's not eating little one.
And then where are you going to stay? Now, when we took our last trip with the dogs, we planned ahead. We knew which motels and hotels accepted dogs. And we had crates. We were all ready for it. But when Paul and I took our last trip, and we stayed at a particular hotel, and I won't use the name because I don't want to embarrass the manager, because he was very upfront with me. This hotel was very pet-friendly. They advertised themselves as pet-friendly. The staff was wonderful. I had no complaints whatsoever. They had complaints, however, and it's very sad because if things continue, that hotel will no longer be pet-friendly. And some of the things they mentioned was when you sign in, they ask you that the dogs, or pets, because they also accept cats, not be left in the hotel room without someone there, because dogs bark. And he said they have gotten complaints from people staying in other rooms that the dog's barking at midnight, 2 o'clock in the morning, and there's no one in the room. They get complaints that from other guests and from their staff that people aren't picking up dog feces after their dog.
That's awful.
That dogs are damaging the room. And, that's why places and facilities no longer allow dogs.
I went to one just recently, a couple months ago, and had to go up to Victorville. And the room that my boss was going to have, the lady said, I'm sorry, but we weren't able to finish that room, so I'll have to switch you to another room. And I just looked at her and go, what do you mean finish? This is a new hotel. Aren't your rooms completed? She goes, yes, but we had a guest with a dog, and the dog destroyed the room. Oh. And I looked at her and I said, that's awful. I said, I'm a trainer and never have my dogs done that. But then again, I've never left them alone in a hotel. Yeah. It's a strange room as it is, Oh, yeah. They were working on this room for 2 days.
Well, the dog owner's going to get the bill.
Yeah.
But still, that's why dogs aren't allowed.
Exactly.
I have friends that were in the hotel business for many years, and, they talk about people forgetting all of their manners and when they go to a hotel.
Right.
It's like, would you act this way in your own home? Then why are you acting this way in a hotel? But then you add in a four-legged critter, and it just multiplies exponentially the stupid things people do.
Now, Paul and I are always more careful.
Sure.
The dogs have their crates or their own bed. Bashir doesn't have a crate, but he had a blanket on the floor that we brought with us. We don't leave them alone in the hotel room. For the water bowl, I put it in the bathroom on the tile.
Right.
Not on the carpet. We made sure they got out regularly so there were no accidents. Even when we were picking up baby Cisco, outside a lot. We had a whole roll of disposable bags to pick up with, and we each had one. You have your bag? Yes, I do. You have it. Because we want these privileges to continue.
Well, when we all three went a couple years ago, every place just your dogs are so much more well behaved than the children that even come here. Half of them didn't even notice we had dogs,
and that's the way it should be.
I still remember in the middle of the night hearing you go, "Oh my God," and you leapt out of bed and the light came on and you were sure that you had heard somebody tinkling.
Oh,
I
heard,
you were panicked.
I heard water running, and I was panicking. It was, oh my God, which dog didn't go potty?
And by the way, for your folks listening, she had knocked over her own water bottle.
Yeah.
Yes, I had.
The sound of water coming out of a plastic water bottle on the night table brought her up right out of bed with the idea that her dog might have been causing my dog, might have been causing some damage in the room. Oh, I gotta take care of this.
Yeah. Yep.
I know it's done. I've done it even at my house. It's weird. You're in the deadest of sleep and you can hear
tinkle.
It wakes you up instantly. And I remember that incident just happened to be, it sounded like it, but it was raining.
Oh yeah.
And so I had it just had that right noise, and I stood up and everyone's sound asleep.
Go do something about it.
Why don't you count the dogs? Oh, they all okay. Nobody's up.
Yeah, in the hotel room, Walter and Bashir just looked at me like, "What the hell?"
And you're running around in your bare feet, going, "There's got to be a wet spot around here somewhere. There it is. There. Oh, it's my own water bottle."
Yeah. How I knocked it over, I have no idea.
But yeah, that's the level that we want to be good.
Yes,
good guess.
Now,
just because you paid for the room doesn't mean you get to trash it.
Oh yeah, well, because you're going to get the bill too.
Yeah.
Something else to keep in mind is not only does the place you're staying, do they allow dogs, but do they have any restrictions? There's a lot of them that will allow dogs up to 30 pounds or 35 pounds, or they only have so many pet rooms. And so if you just show up, the pet rooms may be gone.
Yeah.
So are there any restrictions?
Or restrictions on how many dogs can be in
right.
Oh, yeah. When you travel with multiple pets like we do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Also, if you've been doing your research on the internet, on websites, that can change. Perhaps they've changed the restrictions and haven't updated the website yet. So it's a good idea not to call the overall answering service, but call the individual hotel and make your reservations that way.
Never assume, because once you get there,
it may be too. You may be ready to go to sleep, and they go, "Oh no, thank you."
Exactly.
That makes for a bad night.
Last year, I was talking with someone about traveling with dogs because she and her husband would travel to car shows. And show off their vintage car. She says, but the downside is you never get to go out to the restaurant with people. And I'm like, so? I mean,
yes.
I didn't have a whole lot of sympathy, but it was like, no, you have to plan on takeout.
Yes.
Drive-through or whatever, but leave the dog in the car.
Or if it's a cool place, you can get them accustomed to it just in your hometown.
Yeah.
So take them with you, and if you want to go to a restaurant, park the car somewhere nearby so you can go out and check on them. And because our guys, fine. We went to dinner, but our guys were fine in the vehicles.
Sure. And we parked in the shade with the windows and just made sure it was safe.
We just had this past week, a lady was asking me, she goes, "Oh, I'm going to travel, I'm going to bring my dog with me. You have any suggestions?" And the first one was, do not leave the dog in the hotel room alone. Mm-hmm. And she asked why, and I explained the barking, the who knows what.
I believe here in California it's illegal.
Actually, the fine print says depending on conditions. So
not in your car, in the hotel room. It's
in the
illegal
hotel
to leave
room.
a dog in a hotel room alone, unattended.
Yeah. And actually, in some places, the last time I did research, and it may have changed because things change, but last time I did research, in North Carolina, you cannot have a dog in the hotel room, period. So.
Yeah, it depends.
Make your travel plans accordingly.
Yeah, exactly.
Paul and I always made sure we went straight on through North Carolina and we stayed north or south. So.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, do your research.
Then do the same thing if you're staying at a friend's or relative's house. Do they have a pet
who might not be happy?
Or how do they just feel if they don't have pets at all? Do they want one in their home at all?
Well, Paul and I have experience at that. We showed at someone's house. We had thought that we had conveyed we had our two dogs and whether they were welcome. And we were met at the door by the woman of the house who said, "I'm sorry, Guests are like dead fish, and after 2 days they begin to stink. And your dogs are not allowed in my house, my garage, or my backyard. They'll have to stay in your car. So Paul and I said, thank you very much. We'll see you in the morning. We're going to Motel 6.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We talk about miscommunication between people and dogs. Well, we miscommunicate between humans a lot, too. So,
yeah.
Do your best to make sure your dog is as welcome as you are.
Yes.
Hopefully more.
Well, and then, you know what? And then another thing, don't let your dog cruise around somebody else's home.
Oh, no.
Without being
unleashed.
Be a good guest, exactly.
Yeah.
Keep your dog on leash. Keep your dog with you. Respect others' homes.
So what do you need when you travel with dogs? We're pretty good at this.
Yeah.
I usually carry a tote bag just for the dogs.
Yep.
Dog's wearing his collar with ID,
Yep.
with my cell phone number on it.
Yes.
Not just the home number, but my cell phone.
And the cell phone of anyone you're traveling with.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Leash, an extra leash.
Because those could break or
and
chewed
or get lost.
Damaged or something.
A long line, should you want to let your dog have some exercise.
Yep.
Toys, food dispensing toys to keep him occupied when people are busy.
2 toys.
Obviously his crate.
Oh, yeah.
And preferably one that's relatively mobile. Grooming tools, depending on where you're going, you know, what you might need. You know, our trip when we hit the beaches, we needed brushes and brushes and brushes and brushes.
And towels.
And towels.
Bring
and
dog towels.
Luckily, I had anticipated that and brought a whole box full of towels.
Yep.
Do not use the hotel towels.
Oh, Lord, yeah.
Yeah, bring your own towels. Dog food from home, and bring enough for the whole trip plus a few days, just in case. I always bring some water from home, too, for the first few days while the dog's adjusting. Teach the dog to get used to sparklets or something else a few days before. That's fine. But amazingly enough, strange water can cause gastrointestinal upset, and you do not want that on the trip.
Oh, God, can you imagine?
Cleanup materials. When we went to Arizona to pick up the puppy, I brought cleaning stuff with me. I didn't need it, but I had it. I had stuff to clean carpet. I had wipes. I had towels. I had paper towels, just in case. I mean, hey, we were picking up a puppy.
Vaccination record.
Vaccination records, health records. If your dog's on any meds, make sure you bring extras. Make sure you have your vet's phone number, so just in case if there's an accident while you're on the road, that veterinarian can contact your vet.
Bring your dog's or pet's first aid kit.
People laugh about my first aid kit.
No, I don't. Kate doesn't. We've used it so often.
Not anymore.
Actually, we had a nurse check one of my first aid kits, and she could find hardly anything wrong with it. My first aid kit is in a big plastic box.
Yep.
It's one of those flip-top boxes, and I carry everything except anesthesia.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, Paul's an EMT and a wilderness first aid course instructor and a pet first aid instructor, and he goes through my first aid kit. Let's see, I got bit in the face, and you handled it with our first aid equipment.
Yeah.
We had someone trip and fall and cut her leg, and 2 nurses handled that with...
Badly. It was a bad cut.
It was a bad cut with my first aid equipment.
Didn't we bandage you up? Yeah,
She's gotten bandaged a few times.
Yeah, I know I did. I helped you out. Yeah. Finger or something.
Probably.
Yeah.
But a well-stocked first aid kit and knowing how to use that material is very important. Mine's been used so many times. Paid
and
for
it's
itself.
for people and for pets.
Yeah, it's combination people and pets.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yep. So, first aid kit. Now, Kate, a little while ago, you talked about flying. Let's talk about flying, if you're going to fly your dog. Personally, I don't.
I can't. These days, I don't know that I would. Unless I was able to get on that new airlines where it's
but you know, it's
for pets.
That's so limited. It only goes to a few places, and maybe they're going to expand it, but it only goes to a few airports. And I've looked at it. It's pretty expensive.
Yeah. And they don't guarantee a date.
Yeah.
You have to get together with several people. You know, we've got a friend, a therapy dog member, who's got a 2-pound Maltese.
Well, she
has
put it under
no
the chair.
problem flying.
Yeah.
Oh, exactly.
I'm sure that's Pixie.
Yes.
Yeah.
But no, not even Walter.
No,
Walter wouldn't fit under the
seat. We don't have a dog that we could fit under the seat.
If you've got a pocket pet.
Yeah. Okay. I could do the palms, and that's about it.
But then again, you have to take into personality. I can't imagine Keely, if you had to fly more than an hour.
She wouldn't stay in the crate.
One, she wouldn't be happy.
No.
start barking. And I certainly, I would rather drive for a week rather than ship Bashir across country in the cargo hold of a plane. I mean,
stressful.
I just couldn't do it. I know a lot of people do, but...
And we've heard stories where sometimes I guess they have a temperature, they have to maintain it where there's live animals, and the temperature thermostat doesn't work.
A lot of the airlines that even do accept dogs won't do it during certain times of the year.
Yeah.
The cold or the heat.
Yeah.
Some breeds that should never fly.
Any dog with a short nose.
Yeah. Bulldogs and pugs have the highest rate of deaths during flying. And I mean many yearly. There's statistics on the internet. Do not fly a pug. Do not fly a bulldog. But any of the dogs with shortened muzzles, not just the brachiocephalic, I can never say that. Brachiocephalic. It does not come off my tongue. But any of them with a shortened muzzle, I wouldn't. Any dog who's sensitive to heat. Riker doesn't handle heat well. I would never fly him, even in warm weather.
Yeah.
It's just, to me, it's very risky.
Even, 2 years ago? A show dog was going to Westminster, and
she was never found.
Never found.
That was the year you and I went.
Yeah, that was a number of years ago.
Yeah,
and that was after
a whippet.
A whippet.
The whippet was never found.
After Westminster, she was going to be shipped home, and she escaped from her crate and panicked.
Did she escape or the crate drop?
Or one of the two.
Something like that.
She got out of the crate somehow.
Yeah, and she's gone.
And she was gone. Mm-hmm. She panicked. Mm-hmm. And there were sightings for a while. She had been seen here, seen there, but they never ever found her. And a whippet in New York winter.
Oh my gosh, no way.
And of course,
unless somebody took her in, didn't say anything. Hopefully, that's what happened.
And of course, you can have a car accident. Your dog can jump out of the car.
Sure.
When you stop at a rest stop, if it's not well trained to stay in the.
Yeah.
But it just. I don't know. I guess it's giving up its more control than at least in my car. I have more control.
The dog's with you. Yeah. Otherwise, you're trusting somebody to hopefully not drop the crate, and then get it in the plane, and then have it there when you unload, and it didn't take off in another destination.
There's just not a whole lot of margin for error when you're talking the altitude and the pressure and all that.
Well, let's take a break for our sponsors, and when we come back, let's talk about pet sitting in the home, pet sitters, or a boarding kennel, because there's pros and cons to each of those. So hold on, we'll be right back.
Sit. Stay. It's a doggy dog world. We'll be right back after a short pause. Well, 4 to be exact.
We really love pets. There isn't anything we won't do to make sure they're getting the best products and the best care. So when you ask us a question like,
so how do you feel about cat condos?
We can say from experience,
feels like home for her.
Enter the code DOGGY, DOGGY, and save 10% on orders of $65 or more, plus free shipping at petco.com.
FTD's network of over 40,000 florists around the world have been creating beautiful handcrafted arrangements for 100 years. Each arrangement is delivered the same day and backed by FTD's 7-day satisfaction guarantee. For a century, people have trusted their most important occasions to the flower experts at FTD.
Since Pet Life Radio is all about puppy dogs and flowers, our listeners, that's you, can get a 20% discount on your order. Just go to fluorop.com and use the code DOGGYDOG at checkout. FLEUROP.com. Code word DOGGYDOG. You ask the question, what do I want? What do I need? I'll take affection. I really should mention I need time. I need love. I crave attention. There's a new waiting by the door. I'll bring it for you. With shaking tails and happy hearts. I'll bring it for you. And running circles round the floor. I'll bring it for you. That's always
Available in iTunes. Attention passengers, please fasten your seatbelts, put your seat bags and sleeping pets in their full upright position, and prepare for takeoff.
Pet Life Radio presents Travel Tales, the show where you'll get great travel ideas on perfect places for you and your pet. From Paris to paradise, south of the border to the South Seas, Travel Tales will give you cool tips on fun vacation destinations to travel with your pet, pet-friendly hotels, and advice on how to travel safely and happily with your furry best friends. So, get ready to pack the bags and the bones with your Travel Tales hosts, Susan Sims and Nicholas Veslowski, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.
Let's talk pets
Let's talk pets
on Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com. We know you're begging for more. So back to It's a Doggy Dog World with your fetching hosts, Liz Palika, and this week's co-hosts, Kate Abbott and Petra Burke.
Welcome back to It's a Doggy Dog World. First part of the show, we talked about traveling with your pet. Some ideas, pros and cons, things to do, things not to do, how to choose if your dog should travel with you. Now let's talk about if you're leaving your dog at home. There's several choices. Leave your dog at home and have a family member or neighbor come in. I'm not much for that because they may or may not be reliable. You know, if it's someone you know who knows your dog, that your dog will allow in.
Yeah, for a while there, I had to take care of Dax.
Nobody, she wouldn't let anybody else in. Plain and simple. Yeah. She wouldn't even let my mom in. Not a big dog. Smallest Aussie I've ever had, but she had a big spirit. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. She was intense.
Yeah. But other options are having a professional pet sitter come to your home. And I kind of like that idea because they are professional. They're going to be reliable because you're paying them for that. And if you're choosing someone with references who's bonded, who's a member of one of the professional pet sitting organizations, and hopefully you've got some references for.
And somebody who's taken a pet first aid kit and has some experience with animals to recognize
when there's a problem.
When there's stress, when there's an illness, and catch it before it becomes a problem.
This is nice, too, if you've got dogs, cats, fish, birds. You need the newspaper brought in the morning, your mail picked up, because those all come as a part of their services. And I think for a lot of people that might be a good option. Or as a friend of ours who's a professional pet sitter, when Southern California wildfires were moving through San Diego County a few years ago, a couple of her clients' pets were in the way of the fire, and she was actually able to go get the pets out of the house. And I believe one of her clients lost her house, but Terry had the dog. So hopefully nothing like that will ever happen, but that's the kind of thing that...
What is Terry a member of? It's the
Pet Sitters International.
Pet Sitters International.
Right.
And you can go there and onto their website.
And get referrals. Mm-hmm. Sure. Then there's the option of having your dog stay with a pet sitter that does in-home pet sitting. So it's a little more personal than a boarding kennel, but yet it is a professional pet sitter who has the dog in the home, underfoot in the kitchen, and playing in the backyard with other dogs. I know some that I've talked to, their requirements are the dog must be social with other dogs. Can't have a dog-aggressive dog.
So I have yet to meet a pet sitter that doesn't have their own pets.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
We do because I love it.
Dog can't be an escape artist. Mm-hmm. She's not going to want to take responsibility for a dog that's going to jump a fence. Dog can't be, in some of our friends' case, can't be a cat chaser because she also has cats. Mm-hmm. So...
And doesn't she usually have them come over to the house so she gets to know the dog? The dog gets to see it and gets to have that ever important, we can go here and play and then you will come get me.
Exactly. Right. Yeah.
So.
Or then if you've got a friend who'll take your dog.
Again, if they're reliable.
I mean, I don't know how many times we've watched other people's dogs, you know. Mm-hmm. Of course, then at our house, it's like boot camp.
Yeah.
We do refresher obedience training, too.
I'd certainly be cautious.
With it, but...
Certainly be cautious about leaving my dog with someone who's got kids running in and out, the door might be left open or the gate might be left open. I mean, at my house, the dogs aren't going to dash out, but if they're staying with somebody else and they're worried, you know, that could be a possibility.
Sure.
And then people have a tendency to think of a boarding kennel as the last resort or as jail, but there's some wonderful boarding kennels. I mean, yes, there's some horrible ones. You want to check it. Right. But there's some wonderful boarding kennels. We've worked with one in the area who we've actually gone and given some classes to their staff on body language and how to handle difficult dogs and so forth. And I think...
and if you've got a dog who's anxious or is an escape artist...
That's the best place for them to be.
Yeah, they're the best chance of keeping your dog physically safe.
Right, right.
And then you can do the work on getting them to mentally accept it, emotionally accept it by doing pop-in visits ahead of time.
I think no matter what you choose, the best thing to do is do some research. Mm-hmm. Talk to the pet sitter, have the pet sitter come to your house, or talk to the pet sitter and go to her house and bring your dog with you. Go visit the boarding kennel, ask for a tour. If they won't give you a tour, then don't come back.
No.
Use the sniff test.
Yeah. Does it smell clean? Do the dogs appear happy? Don't worry about all the barking, because as soon as you walk in the back for a tour, every dog back there is going to bark. Yeah, that's normal. But are tails wagging? Do they look happy? Are the runs clean? And yes, there's going to be an accident here or there that happens just after they cleaned up the last time. But for the most part, is it clean? Do they have a bed or a blanket or something? Many of them will lay on the cold concrete just because they want to, but do they have access to a bed or a blanket?
I tend to look at the staff, too. Do the staff look at the dogs?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Do they looking at them going, how you doing, how you doing? Oh,
hi, sweetie pie.
Or are they just walking down the hall?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Are the exercise yards clean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I know at one place, Petra and I got disgusted because the exercise yard stunk.
Oh, it's nasty.
It just stunk. And that's one reason when we finally left.
Yeah.
It just never smelled clean. And that's not good.
And if you think the dog can smell, 1,000 times more
better than we can.
Yeah, it's got to offend them as well.
Yeah. Well, it got to the point that we would walk onto that exercise yard with our dogs, and our dogs would walk around the edge of it. They didn't want to come into the yard. Mm-hmm. And I think that's when Petra and I looked at ourselves and went, nah.
Yeah.
So
I think so.
Yeah. So do some research. There's a lot of different options. Not every option is good for every dog. I certainly would be hesitant about leaving Bashir at a boarding kennel because he's too serious. He would be very stressed. Riker and Archer, they'd be fine.
Yeah.
They'd be giving everybody kisses. No problem. So it really
depends. They'd both talk themselves into the receptionist area and just hang out there all day.
Oh, you know it. Both of them.
Yeah.
I'm a good dog. I'll give you kisses. So it really depends on the individual dog. Walter would be good at a pet sitter's house.
Yeah, and even at that, I not with him, but with his look-alike that I had 15 years ago.
Yeah.
I left him with very good friends. He had spent days and hours there with and without me. Mm-hmm. And then I left him there for a 3-day weekend. And they called asking if he had any history with neurological problems that they weren't aware of. The previous cockapoo Max. He would go into the closet and they would pick him up, carry him outside. He'd stand up with support, pee. And then just stand there and they'd carry him back. He was just simply stressed.
Oh. And now see, Gina, I wouldn't leave with anybody except a very experienced dog owner who knows her.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She has her own issues.
Yeah.
Within 36 hours, Max had turned around.
Sure.
And
but initially he was so stressed.
I mean, we watch our friends with his 2 Beaucherons.
Yeah.
He won't leave him with anybody else who's not experienced.
He did leave one with Terry Albert.
Yeah.
And she did fine because she's an experienced dog person.
Yeah, and that was a mellow one.
Yeah.
We had the
hyper one.
Yeah.
And it's still going through adolescence, too.
Right.
Sure. So anyway, there's a lot of options for you, and I hope we gave you something to think about. With the holidays coming up, the only other thing I can say is make reservations early. Mm-hmm. Because if you want a pet sitter in any form or a boarding kennel, they usually fill up quickly, even in this economy. So make reservations early.
I don't know if it's still around, but a friend she actually belonged to, is a group of senior citizens that did house sitting and pet sitting.
Yeah.
And I don't think she stayed in her own home more than one weekend a month. She absolutely loved it.
Yeah?
She absolutely loved it.
My mom has a friend who does that too, and she loves taking care of other people's dogs in their homes.
I mean, look at any of the three of us. How could any of us stay in a $1 million home if we didn't do that? That's an idea.
Yeah, it is.
And so when I asked her to stay at my house, I mean, I already knew, it's like chocolate, grapes, some paperback books, her favorite tea. And she was happy to come. I knew how to bribe her. But I don't know if that group still is in existence, but it's a wonderful way for stable, caring people that didn't have 9-to-5 jobs to go to.
That loved animals. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Well, on that note, I hope it gives you some things to think about for either this holiday or upcoming vacations. And the three of us wish you a happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas.
Talk to you soon.
All the good holidays.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Having a rough day? Longing for the dog days of summer? Think your fun furry friend lives a dog's life? Well, find out everything you're begging to know as Pet Life Radio presents It's a Doggy Dog World with pet expert and award-winning author Liz Palaika. Every dog has his day, and you'll find out how to make your dog's day fun and rewarding. Every week, on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.